Good morning everyone. Here I am to discuss another important topic, that is potting mixtures. Gone are the days where plants are grown only in traditional ways in our traditional gardens, at a balcony, or only in the pots. Now we want greenery on our walls, on the tables, at our workplaces also. Accordingly, different types of gardens were also designed. They include rooftop gardening, hydroponics, vertical gardening, etc. So different types of gardens require different types of plants, and different types of plants require different types of potting mixtures. According to their growth habit and also the place where they are growing, these potting mixtures would be different. So what a potting mixture actually is? A single component cannot actually support the complete growth of the plant. So different materials are mixed in different proportions for supporting the complete and good growth of the plant. So these mixtures, when they are mixed and used for growth of the plant, we call it as a potting mixture. Now I am going to introduce you about the different components which are generally used as a potting mixture. The first and the foremost one among that is vermicompost. Vermicompost is nothing but the decayed product which is obtained after decomposition of vegetable or food waste or any other organically decomposed waste through earthworms or redworms. This usually consists of the decayed product along with the vermicast, which is nothing but the castings of the earthworm. This vermicompost acts as a good soil conditioner, and it has also proven to increase the germination percentage and increase the plant growth and crop yield. It helps in root and plant growth and also enriches the soil with good soil microorganisms. The next component is cocoa peat. Cocoa peat consists of cocoa husk, cocoa coir, and cocoa fiber. This will improve the aeration and good water retention in the soil, and also improves soil texture and productivity. This can be used as a substitute for the growing medium. Like the soil can be substituted by this cocoa peat for complete growth of the plant. This cocoa peat, when used as an alternative to the soil, it has proven to reduce the root rot diseases also. Usually, in the soil, the microorganisms which are responsible for forming this root rot disease will not be present in the cocoa peat. So, in this way, we can also reduce the root caused diseases. Cocoa peat, due to its lightweight, can be usually used in vertical gardening, hanging pots, and also in the indoor plants, which can be shifted easily from place to place. The next potting mixture is about neem cake. Neem cake is a byproduct which is obtained after cold pressing of neem fruits and kernels. So this after removing of oil from the neem fruits and kernels by solvent extraction method, the remaining product or the remaining byproduct is called as neem cake, and it can be used as a potential organic manure and also can be used as a fertilizer. So this usually it can make the soil more fertile, and it also prevents the bacteria which is converting the nitrogenous compound into nitrogenous gas. In this way, it will make the nitrogen available to the plants more easily. It will also protect your plants from different nematodes, soil grubs, and termites. It is also proven to be an effective management for insects and pests. Neem cake should be incorporated with other potting mixtures. It cannot be used as an alternative growing medium. Next is perlite. Perlite is also type of potting mixture which is obtained from the volcanic glass. So volcanic glass is silicon dioxide when it is subjected to high degrees of temperature, that is around 1600 degrees Fahrenheit temperature. The water molecules which are present in the glass will get trapped and turn into vapor, and this vaporized glass, this vaporized water will make the material into lightweight and the rock will expand. This lightweight material is called as perlite. Usually this perlite is mixed with the soils. So it can be also mixed with soilless mediums for improving the aeration and also for modifying the soil structure. It will keep the soil loose and aerated so that it can be mixed with heavy soils to make your soils loose and aerated, and also it can lose the compaction of the soil. Perlite is good for rooting of cuttings and also will improve strong root formation than which are growing in water alone. So this perlite is white, it is white in color and it is very light in weight. Next is vermiculite. Vermiculite is nothing but hydrated laminar magnesium aluminium ion silicate. So this is a composition of vermiculite. Usually it is used in building industry. It is also a very light material, and here I have shown you in the picture we can see three grades of vermiculite. One is the large grade, next is the medium and the fine grade. So any grade can be used for growing your plants. When mixed with the other potting mixtures, it will not rot, and it is also a light material, and it will improve the soil structure through improving the soil aeration, and also will increase the water and nutrient retention capacity of the potting mixture. So this vermiculite can also be incorporated in the plants when especially growing for vertical gardening, indoor gardening and hanging pots. Next is sphagnum moss. Sphagnum moss is nothing but the moss which is grown in soil, which is grown usually in wetty areas, swampy areas, like it is mostly grown in Ireland, Scotland, New Zealand, Michigan. So this is sphagnum moss. It is a living plant. It is collected when it is live, and then it is dried to be commercially used. So this dried sphagnum moss is used for growing the plants, especially in air layering. Sphagnum moss is used as a medium for growing of your layered plants. It is available in two forms, that is long fibered moss and also milled moss. So it has neutral pH, it is really soft, and it holds good water holding capacity. It improves water and water retention and soil aeration. It can also be used as packing material for different plants. Sphagnum moss, as I told you, it is used in air layering for increasing the water holding capacity of the medium. So this can be mixed with the different potting mixtures, or it can be used alone for rooting of layered cuttings. Next is peat moss. Peat moss and sphagnum moss are different. We usually get confused with the peat moss and sphagnum moss. So peat moss is nothing but it is decayed sphagnum moss. Along with this, we also have insects and other plants that are sunk to the bottom of the that bog. That is, bog is nothing but the sea where you are having swampy area. All the things which are collected along with the sphagnum moss, we call it as peat moss. So this peat moss consists of all the decayed bugs, all the decayed plant material along with the sphagnum moss. So it is acidic and high in tannins. It can contain water up to 70%. It is naturally compacted, and it is sold as compressed brick or compressed bed. It consists of organic materials like moss, decayed plant material and also dead bugs. It is used in potting of gardens and also can be used in potting of indoor plants also. Next is clay pellets or hydrotons. Clay pellets or hydrotons are nothing but simple clay. When clay is heated to high degrees of temperatures around 1200 degrees centigrade temperature, the clay, all the gases in the clay will expand and thousands of bubbles are formed. So these bubbles are collected and it forms a honeycomb like structure. So all the bubbles are separated and we call them as clay pellets or hydrotons. So they are also light in weight, they are great water absorbers and they can also be used for absorbing excess water when your roots are damaged due to excess water. These clay pellets can be used for absorbing the excess water and it can save your roots from decay. The clay pebbles usually used as a base layer along the plant side to get good amounts of water and air through it. So clay pellets can also be used in the vertical farming, in the indoor garden plants and also for uh, outdoor plants. Next is farmyard manure. Farmyard manure, as it is nothing but a mixture of animal manure, urine, bedding material, the fodder residues, and other components. So all the mixture, when decayed, it forms into a perfect farmyard manure, and it is a rich source of organic organic fertilizer. So farmyard manure will improve the soil structure and it is a natural fertilizer in farming. It increases the soil aeration capacity, water holding capacity, and nutrient holding capacity. When farmyard manure is mixed with different potting mixtures, it will improve the microbial activity in the soil and also it will make the minerals in the soil naturally available to the plants. So minerals and nutrients are readily available when farmyard manure is added to the potting mixture. Next is leaf mold. This leaf mold is nothing but the substance which consists of decayed leaves and it has proven to improve the soil structure. So the dead leaves will add organic material to the soil and it also has good water holding capacity. That is the reason it can be mixed with different potting mixtures for holding good amounts of water in it. And it will keep the plant roots cool and it will also regulate the temperature of the soil and it will improve the moisture and water retention capacity of the soil. So the leaf mold can also be used as a mixture in a potting mix. Next is red earth. Usually, the most common soil types of soil used for growing plants is red earth or red soil. Red soil is a type of soil which develops in warm and moist climates under deciduous or mixed forest areas. So these red soils are generally derived from crystalline rock. They have this red color imparted to them. That's why we give its name as red earth or red soil. Red soil is usually porous and has high percentage of iron oxide. Its pH value ranges from 6.6 to 8. It is loose and it has good aeration and in terms of in terms of nutrient capacity, it is poor in nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and organic matter. That is the reason we mix red earth with different organic manures like FIM, leaf mold, vermicompost, and neem cake, so that the plant will obtain its complete nutrition from the soil. Red earth cannot alone serve the purpose of growth to the complete growth to the plants. Okay, so that is the reason we mix different potting mixtures in different ratios depending upon the need of the plant and depending upon the requirement of the plant for forming a good potting mixture. So, good potting mixture is ideal, and for different types of plants, different ratios of potting mixtures are available. So, with this, we conclude the session and we will meet soon with another topic. Thank you.